support as pride and dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Hapan TV, and welcome to this video here, the Great Unbanning. And it is a kind of Great Unbanning moment. Now, what do I mean by the Great Unbanning? Well, are you familiar with the meme? It's a very popular meme about being a conspiracy theorist and being vindicated. And there's so many, aren't there? I mean, there's Miles's t-shirt, which you've seen on this video, where it says, I'm a conspiracy theorist, my pronouns are told you so, etc., etc., etc. And many times on this particular channel, we've had this discussion, haven't we, where I give a list of various things that have happened in the last few years, and I said, look, we told you this was going to happen, we told you so about everything. We conspiracy theorists a few years ago were called crazy for saying A, B, and C, and now A, B, and C is coming true, and everyone can see it. What's interesting is it's numerous different subjects of all kinds. It's not just one conspiracy. It's like everything is falling like dominoes. And this video is about another great example of that that's just happened. Now, there's a clue actually in the background behind me. You can't really see. I'll just switch off the camera just so you can see it there. There we go. Right. What you're seeing there is a photograph taken in China during the Cultural Revolution. You can see Mao Zedong there on behind me, over my shoulder. Big picture of Mao Zedong, the Chinese leader of the 1948 revolution. And the people you see standing there with their heads bowed and with signs around their neck are like thought criminals, people who oppose the regime, that is the Chinese Communist Party's reforms and revolution. And they're bowing their heads with shame. And the signs, I can't read Chinese, but the signs say things like, I'm a thought criminal, etc., etc. I'm a evil capitalist, I did A, B, and C. I'm a reactionary, things like that. And the crowds around them are like hurling abuse at them, throwing eggs at them and spitting at them and things like that, and calling them names. Because the reason I've got that picture behind me is because the internet during the Biden administration in the US, which spreads to the rest of the world because the internet establishment is centered on Silicon Valley, it is a bit like that. We have suffered that exact fate, but justice has come. Justice has come in the form of a letter from the Alphabet, that is Google's parent company, Google being the presider of YouTube, to the American government. It's a letter from Alphabet, which is based on a subpoena by the chairman of the House Judicial Committee, Representative Jim Jordan. Jim Jordan issued a subpoena about this very issue, essentially forcing them to testify, if necessary, subjecting them to hearings and things like that. And Alphabet sent a letter back basically saying, which was essentially a 5-page confession. Now, I'll read the letter in full in a minute, but basically the Jim Jordan House Judiciary Committee subpoenaed Alphabet, and basically they wrote back, and whether they're, I don't particularly think this letter is particularly adequate in terms of the damage done and recompense, but we'll go through it anyway. I'll put it. Is this better than the usual thing, so you can actually see it? But you don't need to actually read it in full. You can. I'll just zoom in a little bit on it. There we go. Okay, and it just says it's from King and Spalding. This is lawyers, which represent Alphabet, to the Honourable Jim Jordan, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, U.S. House of Representatives, and their address. Dear Chairman Jordan, this statement of facts is submitted on behalf of our client, Alphabet Incorporated, and its subsidiary YouTube, collectively Alphabet, or the company, in response to subpoenas issued by the House Committee on the Judiciary, the committee, you always have to have these things in legal letters, on 15th February 2023 and the 6th of March 2025. Throughout the committee's investigations, Alphabet provided responsive information to the committee to fulfill its oversight responsibilities, producing internal records and providing extensive testimony, including more than 40 sets of responsive documents and the voluntary participation of 20 executives in transcribed interviews. That's basically the lawyers are saying here, look, they did everything they could. They've cooperated with you, so don't be too hard on them. Alphabet is a collection of businesses, the largest of which is Google. Alphabet's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Alphabet is committed to building helpful products for everyone, and the company aspires to give all users the tools they need to increase their knowledge. Bullshit! The company is committed to doing its part to continue to keep the digital ecosystem safe, reliable, and open to free expression. Bullshit overload, bullshit overload. I can't take this bullshit. I'm getting an overdose of bullshit. I mean, can you believe it? I mean, this is, oh dear. I mean, this is kind of like really. I mean, these platitudes are just so transparently false and over the top. I mean, the fact they're rubbing it in so much surely is it's like there's some kind of guilt involved here. All right, I read that bit. Alphabet designs its products to work for everyone. Bias towards a particular viewpoint is not in line with the company's values or the company's business interests. Right. Well, I agree with the latter. It's certainly not in line with the company's business interests. But as we've seen many, many times, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the wokeocracy and things like that, incredibly, this is the first time ever when they're willing to sacrifice business interests. Huge, even mega corporations are willing to sacrifice business interests for the purposes of some political agenda. We've seen it many, many times. I mean, do you think Disney are actually making money off the new sort of like crappy left-wing Star Wars? Of course they're not, but they do it anyway. I'll try and put on a voice so you know when I'm talking and when they're talking. What's a good kind of like snide little YouTube voice? Alphabet's business model depends on being a useful source of information for everyone, and a home for users of all backgrounds, yes, even white people. As a result, Alphabet has a natural long-term business incentive to apply and develop its policies consistently, impartially, and independently. God, who writes this stuff? These lawyers are good. They're very, very good. They really, really are. I mean, this, of course, they are right. It is in their long-term business interests to do that, but they've sacrificed those long-term business interests. The Honourable Jim Jordan, September 23rd, 2023. The committee and its investigation. The company appreciates the accountability from the House Judiciary Committee, led by Chairman Jim Jordan. I bet they appreciate it like hell. And its critical role in advancing the core American value of freedom of expression. Of course, you see, this is the important point, right? What the company's done is, because the American freedom of expression is enshrined into law in the First Amendment. It's part of the underlying constitution and of the nation's ethics. The United States is one of the few countries on earth which is what you call a nuo-state. That is one founded on philosophy. Most nations on earth are ethno-states. They're centered around a particular people, a particular culture. And very, very, very few times in history, nations have emerged which are nuo-states. That is, nations founded on philosophy. And the only other example I can think of, ironically, is that the US's Cold War rival, the Soviet Union, founded on Marxism-Leninism. But you see, what I'm saying is that what Alphabet has done is essentially unconstitutional. It is literally a breach not only of statute law, but of and common law, but basically of the entire core value of the nation itself, dating back almost a quarter of a millennium. The company has a commitment to freedom of expression. Do I really have to read this? Do I really have to read this crap? The commitment is unwavering and will not bend to political pressure. Transparency regarding government interactions with private platforms is essential for fostering public trust and upholding principles of free expression. Can I skip this bit? Can I? Oh, gee, I'm not going to read that last sentence. All right. Oh, no, it's just one more little bit here. The committee's investigation brought to light new information that enhanced public understanding in this respect. The Biden administration and Alphabet. 7. Can I say this now? I think I can actually say this because of this very issue. I can now say it. The COVID-19 pandemic was an unprecedented time in which online platforms had to reach decisions about how best to balance freedom of expression with responsibility, including responsibility with respect to the moderation of user-generated content that could result in real-world harm. I think egregious harm is the word they usually use, isn't it? Could result in real-world harm. They had to balance this, you see. It's about balance. Funny, it's the feminists in the conspiracy who always talk about balance. You know, we need to get rid of more white men because there's not enough balance here. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to the COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate its policies. Let me read that sentence again because that's very important. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to the COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate its policies. What that means is that the Biden administration officials actually wrote to them and said, look, we know this stuff doesn't break your real rules, but you need to censor it anyway. There's no laws broken, no rules broken. Just get rid of it because we tell you to. Repeated and sustained outreach. That sounds like badgering and harassing. See, interesting, these like little euphemisms they use. Lawyers are good at that. While the company continued to develop and enforce its policies independently, did it? Biden administration officials continue to press the company to remove non-violated user-generated content. As online platforms, including Alphabet, grappled with these decisions, the administration's officials, including President Biden, created a political atmosphere that sought to influence the actions of platforms based on their concerns regarding misinformation. All right. Well, President Biden himself, I'm sure, couldn't even spell political atmosphere. I don't think he could spell sought or influence or even the. But what they're basically saying is it's not just us. Alphabet, platforms including Alphabet, grappled with these decisions, and they said that this is essentially a confession. This is a confession, isn't it? It is unacceptable and wrong when any government, including the Biden administration, attempts to dictate how the company moderates content, and the company has consistently fought against those efforts on First Amendment grounds. All right. So they're claiming, well, they wanted us to do this, but we didn't want to. We didn't want to do it. We did it under protest, and we fought back. Well, did they? Did they fight back? Where's the lawsuit, Alphabet? Where is your own solicitor's letter to them? Where is all the newspapers? Where's all your articles in the newspapers saying we're fed up of Biden telling us what to do and we're going to fight back and getting public support for this? This whole thing was, if you did any fighting back, fought against, it was all done very privately and quietly, wasn't it? And what are you doing now? Are you suing these former administration peoples? Have you called? I mean, this could be regarded as criminal. Have you called the police? No. So how much fighting back did you actually do? Now there's YouTube. YouTube's mission. Oh God, I can't bear to read this. It's loads and loads of flannels, blah blah. I'm not gonna read that bit. Sorry, it's this. You can read it yourself. You can read this bit yourself. This bit where they go, YouTube is so, YouTube A, B, and C, all the stuff, right? Yeah, right. There's a wide variety, blah blah. Okay. YouTube will strive to foster self-expression on an array of topics as diverse as its user base, to nurture a thriving creative and informational ecosystem, and to be an engine of economic opportunity, meaning allowing people to, essentially join YouTube as a creator and become professional filmmakers. Essentially, that's the whole idea of YouTube. It had an AdSense system, so you could make money off what you were doing. They pay you. You'd be joining in payment. YouTube creates new economic opportunities for artists, creators, podcasters, journalists, and small businesses to share their creativity and products in the United States and across the globe. Yeah, well, it does. They are now. But I mean, we'll come on to that later about the new economic opportunities come around now. YouTube's created ecosystem supported more than 490,000 full-time American jobs and contributed 55 billion to the US economy, according to research from Oxford Economics 2024. All right. YouTube takes seriously the importance of protecting free expression and access to a range of viewpoints. YouTube's community guidelines and terms of service apply equally to all users. Oh dear. From private citizens to the most visible public figures and to all types of content, regardless of their viewpoint expressed. This is excruciating even to read this crap. The company has transparently evolved its policy framework related to the COVID-19 to ensure space for further debate and discussion on the platform. YouTube never had a community guidelines prohibiting discussion on the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. As publicly announced in 2023, YouTube ended several COVID-19 content policies. As of December 2024, YouTube retired the remaining standalone COVID-19 policies and allowed discussion of various treatments for COVID-19. Right. They say they never had community guidelines on these issues, right? I believe them. That's not the point. The point is they said, sod the community guidelines, we're going to get rid of you anyway. I mean, some channels have been summarily removed. Richard D. Hall, I'll talk about later, but some channels have literally been summarily removed. People have logged in. There's none of those nasty letters which I've read out when they ban my stuff. They just find their content has just vanished, or their account is just shut. And we know they then ended these content policies, which didn't breach their community guidelines. Why did it take as long as December 2024? But are they going to allow people back? That's a big question. I'll come on to that. On key issues of medical content, YouTube policies continue to evolve in line with a dynamic environment. Health authorities have changed their guidance over time, and Alphabet's policies have evolved as well. Well, why Alphabet's policies should not be changing with those of health authorities? Healthcare and internet, social media are two different things. YouTube's current approach allows a wide range of content regarding COVID-19 and elections. We come on to the elections now. That's the next bit. While the reliance on health authorities in this context was well-intentioned, was it? The company recognizes it should never have come at the expense of public debate on these important issues. Right. So that's essentially an apology. That is essentially an admittance of wrongdoing. And the idea, it was well-intentioned. They claim it was well-intentioned. Well, was it? Was it really well-intentioned, or is that just what they're saying now? YouTube continues to enable a diversity, that word again, a diversity of perspectives. I think that's the second time they've said diversity of perspectives, or diversity of opinion, or diversity of something else or other. I mean, they keep using these buzzwords, aren't they? They keep using these damn buzzwords. Okay. And believes creators should be able to openly debate political ideas on the platform. Well, let us do it then. In June 2023, YouTube sunsetted a policy to allow for discussion of possible widespread fraud, errors, and glitches occurring in the 2020 and other past US elections. Right. Funny enough, that was before Trump's re-election. No matter the political atmosphere, YouTube will continue to enable free expression on its platform. I'll believe it when I see it. Right now, I don't believe the word you're saying. I think you will cave in again and go back to this whenever you get the chance. Particularly as it relates to issues subject to political debate. Well, what's not subject to political debate in this world? Everything can be politicized. Everything is political at a certain level. Everything. History is political and can be discussed in contemporary political terms. For example, that's often the case. Political debate and discussion are in the public's interest. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Which is why YouTube expanded its approach to educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic content on the platform. But you expanded that approach back in 2020, in 2005 when you set up the platform. In the good old days, the grand old golden age of YouTube, when it literally was the Wild West. It was the marketplace of ideas. Sure, you had rules banning criminal content. Yes, of course, that's absolutely right. But apart from that, people could just say whatever they liked. That was when you expanded your approach, when you first set up the platform. It's after that you started to constrict it. So you've never expanded it from that initial constriction until now. Well, you haven't expanded it. You've just gone back to where you were probably in 2016. That's all you've done. In contrast to other large platforms, YouTube has not operated a fact-checking program that identifies and compensates fact-checking partners to produce content to support moderation. That is true, actually, although you do have the wiki boxes underneath, and I've got a few under mine, where they have a look at if you say something. I mean, mine are often New World Order, Area 51, and things like that. Things that are considered a bit dodgy. The Area 51 thing came after the Storm Area 51 meme. And it's all put in a little Wikipedia box, even above the description box, right under the player pane. So yeah, they haven't actually used it for moderation, but they have used it. They have banned things in the same way, and they still I think they still shadow ban, and they also still put in the wiki boxes. YouTube has not and will not empower fact checkers to take action or label content across the company services. You say you will not? I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You will at some point, I think. Pardon me. YouTube also began offering a feature on YouTube beginning in June 2024 that allows users to add notes to provide relevant, timely, and understandable context on videos. I don't mind that, actually. I don't mind them doing that. If users are allowed to do it, that's fine. The pilot is available on mobile in the US and in English, and YouTube continues to collect feedback on the feature. YouTube also features an extensive comment section where viewers can comment and share their views on content posted by creators. Yeah, I know you do. I mean, I know there are a few videos without comments on them, but it is actually the user that chooses whether or not to open the comment section. So far, I have never uploaded a video with a closed comment section. Never. All my comment sections are open. And my spam filter, as you know, is on the lowest possible level, and I only delete like really abusive content. The company terminated channels for repeatedly violating its communication guidelines, its community guidelines on election integrity content through 2023 and COVID-19 content through 2024. Well, didn't they just say earlier on that they had no community guidelines regarding these things? Yes, here we go. YouTube never had community guidelines prohibiting discussions of the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. Is that like the pluperfect tense, and it's like a little bit of a here we are. Is that just kind of like a little get out clause? I don't know, but it sounds like a contradiction to me. Today, YouTube's community guidelines allow for a wider range of content regarding COVID-19 and elections integrity, reflecting the company's commitment to free expression. YouTube will provide an opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channels for repeated violation of COVID-19 and election integrity policies that are no longer in effect. Yeah, and I'm going to come on to that actually, because there have been a few resurrections, which I will discuss. Now, the question is, we'll check to see, does these resurrections include the restoration of videos that were on the channel before the ban? Because I don't know if they actually keep those videos on the server as in storage for that long. I don't know. Do they keep them on the server for all these years, or maybe they just delete them? I don't know. Um, and elections integrity policies that are no longer in effect. Yeah. YouTube values conservative voices on its platforms and recognize that these creators have extensive reach and play an important role in civic discourse. Oh, well, I don't know. A lot of them are still shadow banned, I think. The company recognizes these creators are among those shaping today's online consumption, landing must-watch interviews, giving viewers the chance to hear directly from politicians, celebrities, business leaders, and more. Hmm. But yeah, well, it's what they're maybe this is their way of saying, well, basically, those more edgy channels and more edgy videos are actually far, far more popular than any of the others. They're more popular than the silly little establishment left wing stuff, aren't they? Yeah, which if I was in charge, I would never ban those left wing content creators. By the way, I would never. I'd encourage them to continue using the platform as well. Regulatory landscape. Transparency regarding government interactions with private companies is essential for fostering public trust and upholding the principles of free expression. Well, why don't you do it then? Laws around the world affect the availability of content across Alphabet's products and services, and the company publishes data on its quarterly transparency report regarding content removal requests in an effort to inform discussions about online content regulation. What does that mean? That's a rather confusing sentence there. It sounds to me, if I interpret it correctly, it seems whenever you get these, whenever you hit a fog bank, there's something solid in the middle of it. This sounds to me like obfuscation to say something like various nations of the world will contact us. A lot of them have national filters. Indeed, Britain has one now. For BitChute, as you know, I've explained before, and several other have been banned with thanks to the Online Safety Act. And very often, what's happened is they're saying that Alphabet are contacted by various national governments, asking them to assist with their own national censorship agenda. I think that's what they're trying to say here, and the fact that they have to say it in such roundabout gobbledygook is they want to kind of say it without really saying it. Governments and law enforcement entities make legal requests in an effort to moderate content according to their views, and their demands. Um, come with significant penalties for non-compliance. Well, that's different. That is criminal issues. Yeah, you got to remove criminal material. Anything that's like anything that breaks the law, you got to remove. Also, I'd say, YouTube is not a porn site, so you should remove erotic content. You should take steps to prevent younger users from accessing things like that. Yeah, I understand that, but that's where the line. There should be a line after that they don't cross. Alphabet has a track record for pushing back against overly broad or otherwise inappropriate government demands for user data and content removals, including objecting to some demands entirely. Do they? As I said earlier, this came up earlier. Where's their track record of pushing back? Where are their own legal challenges? Where has their media department published headlines about their own commitment to free speech in the face of government requests for censorship? So far, the only person who's done that is Elon Musk on Twitter. He's the only person so far I know in Silicon Valley who's actually doing that. You lot aren't. Where are these objections? Where are these objections to demands? Where are they? The committee has taken important investigative steps to highlight that onerous obligations under law, such as the Digital Services Act and the Digital Markets Act, may stifle innovation and restrict access to information. That's their way of saying, damn that bloody committee, they've exposed us. What's the Digital Services Act, Digital Market Act? That sounds incredibly Orwellian. These laws place a disproportionate regulatory burden on American companies. And the company, all right, that sounds to me like the Online Safety Act. because this is the complaint that was often made, that the reason so many social media companies like complied with the OSA is because it was just too much bother to go against it. So are these acts that has just been mentioned the American equivalents of the OSA? If so, why have the same laws come out in two separate countries at the same time? And there's no world government, Ben. There's no world government, yet the same laws come out at the same time in two different countries. Disproportionate regulatory burden on American companies. And the company's long expressed its concern about the risk that the DSA may pose to freedom of expression within and outside of the European Union. Oh, right. I didn't hear their expression before. Why? This expression can't have been very long and actually very, very loud, and its concern can't have been that great. Otherwise, we'd have seen headlines about it. And as for the European Union, still glad you voted leave, guys? Yeah. And the European Union, depending on how certain provisions may be enforced. Why? Well, depending. What conditions? What provisions are you talking about? Do you object to some enforcement and not others? If so, why? The DSA could be interpreted in such a way as to require Alphabet and other providers of intermediary services to remove lawful content, jeopardizing the company's ability to develop and enforce global policies that support rights to free expression and access to information. It could be interpreted that way. It could be. It's not our fault. It's not our fault, but it could be interpreted a certain way. They fine us $1 million every time someone says like a dodgy joke, but it's not our fault. It could be. That's not necessarily opposing rights to free expression and access to information. It just might be that way. I mean, this is essentially the hatchling argument, as Morgoth calls it. This is the faux naivete. The DSA may open avenues for substantive regulation of lawful speech, including through risk mitigation, the use of codes of conduct and crisis protocols, and out-of-court dispute settlement mechanism. Yeah, it may, again, that's a repeat of the same thing, really. Alphabet remains mindful of those risks, and continues to be vigilant in its defense of these rights. And then we have waiver. In providing this information, the company does not waive, nor does it intend to waive, any of its rights or privileges, including any applicable attorney-client work product or other evidentiary privilege or any objection to the committee's request. Oh, this is just like a small print of all the subpoenas. The representations herein are based on reasonably available information and are not intended to and do not capture all information related to the committee's requests or to the subpoenas, nor are they an exhaustive description of the information discussed. That's just some kind of a disclaimer, yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, they were forced into this. They were literally forced into this by the committee. This is what the subpoena means. They're saying we're going to force you to do this. You have a law. You now have a legal demand, saying that you have to answer us and respond to these requests. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Daniel F. Donovan, counsel for Alphabet. And there is someone else called Jamie Raskin, ranking member, and Ellen K. Hayes, Esquire. That's probably I'm guessing that's Jordan's assistants. Okay, guys. Well, there you have it. This is essentially a 5-page long, very verbose apology and confession. And I think some people now owe me an apology, and many other people. All the skeptics who said we were paranoid owe me an apology, and you too, if like me, you have felt the way that we do. Now the question is now that essentially that this committee has wrestled and wrung this statement out of Alphabet, what next? What about class action lawsuits? Why don't we, the users, not me necessarily, because I've not suffered financially from this. My channel's never been monetized. What about the larger users, the people I'm going to talk about in a minute? What about their What about class action lawsuits by them for loss of earnings, for defamation? And also maybe the constitutional lawyers in the United States as well need to get hold of this and actually prosecute them criminally for a breach of the nation's founding ethics. And his thing is, apparently it's not just Alphabet that were doing this. Meta were as well, but it wasn't called Meta in those days. The Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg was doing this. As far as I know, he still does, because that hasn't changed. Facebook has not shifted at all in the same way that Google have and Alphabet have. Twitter before Elon. Yes, they were doing exactly the same thing under their previous CEOs. In fact, Twitter was one of the most censorious platforms of all. I mean, pre-Elon, it was like it was tiptoeing you had to do. So, and not only that, the government constantly changed their positions. Thanks to Fauci, the science, the trust the science things were like changing all the time. So what about all the other people? Richard D. Hall, summarily, I mean, his channel wasn't banned. They didn't even tell him why his channel was banned. They didn't send you the nasty letter saying, we're terminating your channel for breaches of community guidelines A, B, and C. They just deleted it. He deleted it because the BBC told them to. Is Richard going to get his channel back? And now, this is interesting, because there are other channels that have come back. Let me just find them. We'll just go through some of them, because I've noticed their return, because when they came back, and my subscription to them was still there, and indeed the bell icon, because I actually clicked the bell icon, because essentially this is quite a good continuation of previous. This is quite a good continuation of it's not like anything has to be restored in terms of my relationship with them. So essentially, when they came back, it was just like a stasis that was now over. So my subscription was still there, and my notification was still there. Oh, what's happening now? Oh, go away. So one of the most prominent ones, one of the most popular ones that I am familiar with, is Jordan Sather. I actually interviewed Jordan Sather on her Panmo Radio, if you're interested. I'll just show you the interview I did with him. If you want to listen to it, it's very interesting. I had a good chat with Jordan, actually. I got to thank. Here we go. There we are. Program 571. I interviewed Jordan there. Yeah, so you can go and look at that. I've got to thank Michelle, actually, at Fade to Black, for setting that up. But Jordan is back now. Here we are. All his channels are all back now. Why haven't I subbed? Is this a different one? I haven't subbed to that one. Maybe this could be a copycat channel, mind you. But Destroying the Illusion, I think this is his principal one, which I'm already subscribed to. Oh, it's. I did actually click the. Oh, right. I thought that was my fault. I think I might have done that. But look, here we are. He's talking about here. You see, YouTube gave me my channel back after 5 years. Why is YouTube letting us back on? It's worth looking at the.
Gosh, let's see if I remember how to do this.
Or Jordan.
So I'm sitting here looking at Destroying the Illusion YouTube channel back up on YouTube.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Kind of in shock a little bit, not going to lie. Almost 5 years to the day since it was banned. October 15th, 2020. Day the Hunter Biden laptop story dropped, right when YouTube censored hundreds of channels that day.
Yeah. They did. That's
and now
right.
Almost exactly 5 years later.
It's weird how that's a weird coincidence, isn't it? So you can watch the rest of this on his channel, but let's have a look at let's just have a look here. Yeah, you see, his old videos are still there. That's good. His old videos are still there. That's great. So they didn't just delete them. They kept them on their servers. They kept them on their drives, and now the channel was still there in kind of mothballs that could be restored. Another one is the Praying Medic. He's back too. This guy, the Praying Medic, and he says here he's not scared to mention the little 17th letter, is he? But here he is. He's now back. He's 6 days ago. 6 days. 6 days. 6 days. So he's been making the most of his return, I think. Now, how have his? I'll scroll down so far because 2 weeks. He's been back a while, yeah. And there you go. 5 years ago. 5 years. 5 years. 5 years. 2 weeks. There we go. That was his last. October the 13th. Ironically, my birthday in 2020. He was banned. Well, that was his last video before he was banned. Now, there are others as well. See if we can find them that have been restored. Yeah, Dave Cullen's back, I think. Yeah, I saw him actually. He did. Here we are. Here we are. Computing forever. I think he's back. Yeah, he's back. He's back. Good old Dave. Dave Cullen is back. Nice. He's back. Thank goodness for that. Here we are. 5 years. 5 years ago. And suddenly, now where was I? See, he's back.
I guess you're wondering why.
And he's monetized. He's monetized.
That's because.
Well, he's monetized again.
I'm awake. Wow, that's such a weird dream. It felt like it went on for like 4.5 years. I dreamt my channel was unjustly terminated for some completely unsubstantiated TOS violation. Oh well, I guess I was vindicated after all.
Oh, is this your man, Computing Forever, back again? That gobshite. Back spouting his nonsense on YouTube. Will you give it up with your cringe, Cullen, huh? We had peace and quiet while you were gone.
Yes, I am Computing Forever.
And I come back to you now. At the turn of the tide.
YouTube provided the option to appeal the account closure, and lo and behold, I guess they feel my channel deserves to stick around after all. I'm sure some people will be saying,
somehow Computing Forever returned.
A number of high-profile accounts have been reinstated recently. Dan Dick's Press for Truth, Max Egan's The Crow House channel.
Is Max back? Oh my God, he's not, is he? I didn't know he was back. Max Egan, oh, he's back! Yay! Now, Max, I didn't know Max Egan had to flee Australia because he believed, probably quite rightly, that he was being set up for a shooting incident. He actually fled to Mexico. I never thought Australia would have political refugees, but it did. Just here we go. This is his new one. And this is quite long, but this is over 2 hours. But yeah, he's back. Now the question is, who else is? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Richard, is Richard back? No, I know this is a good test. I put in Richard's name, and it's all the bloody mainstream media evil they've talked about him. Oh, the most vile man in Britain and all this sort of thing. So that's all we're getting right now. I've discussed that on other videos. Oh, here we are. Here he is on Kerrang Radio. But there is actually a Rich Planet TV. There was some like kind of Rich Planet. I've subbed to them all. Rich Planet TV Archive. There, Rich Planet Archive. There's loads of these channels. Rich Planet TV Archive. There we go. Now there's many of these. There's about a dozen or more of these, like people who are just mirroring his stuff, which is really good. See, that was uploaded just 6 hours ago. A lot of the stuff that's a lot of his old shows are up on here, which is really, really good. What about Alex Jones? I mean, maybe they won't include him. Let's have a look. Oh, Alex Jones TV. Is this could be another, like, yeah. This may be him, or it may be. It's possible this is like one of the archive channels. I don't know. I don't know if Alex is back. What about Stefan Molyneux? Let's have a look. No predictive text. Oh wait, this is him. Well, I'm subscribed to it, so it probably is. Yeah, this is probably him back. Yay! Is he back? 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Let's have a look. For 1 month, 1 month ago. I think he's back. Yeah. At some point, it's going to switch like 5 years ago. What has he brought back? Yeah. Of course, I'm familiar. I've been following all these people anyway because they've. Oh, Well, he was restored quite a while ago. 2 months, 3 months. It's possible this is not is actually his. It's possible this could be like another channel, a separate channel. I don't know. It goes back 4 months. Yeah, look, 6 months ago. Now this is not his original channel. This is a different one. It may not even be by him. It only goes back 6 months. So I made a mistake there. I did sub to it, so something must have been done right. So go back to my notes. Check I've covered everything. Yeah, no apology. Lawsuits, unprecedented times. Election opinions. Government livelihoods destroyed. I mean, literally, people have had their entire income ruined, and all the backslappers and skeptics who say, "Oh, you can go and get a proper job now." Like, this is not a proper job. This is a proper job. You see, I mean, anyone who supported any channel being terminated, other than those who were outwardly trolling or criminal, shame on you. I would never advocate for Neil Sanders to be banned, or for any skeptic to be banned, or Brent Lee, or any of those people to be banned. I'd never advocate for Owen Jones to be banned, or any of the or Ash Sarkar, or any of the communists to be banned. Free speech is either for everyone or no one. And a lot of freedom of speech has been destroyed because those who want to destroy it will target certain people and get the enemies of those people to back them up. And those enemies will say, well, I support free speech, but I'm going to make this one exception because I don't like this person. So the government then move on to another one, and they get a whole load of other free speech activists who want to make one exception. The question is now, what do I do? What about me? Now, I'm not in a position, I've actually got a copyright strike on my channel. I've got one active community guideline strike and a copyright strike. Let's have a look at my page here, my little dashboard. With its speedometer and rev meter and milometer and things like that. Channel violations, here we go. I've got one active copyright strike, which is probably, I think it's going to terminate at some point. In fact, I think it's nearly over. It's nearly over. Let's see. It's a 90-day strike on the 12th of August. So it's now, I've only got like a couple of more weeks of this to do. Yeah, in fact, it says here, expires in 15 days. And that, of course, was, you know what that was. It was bloody, that was Skeptic of the North. And I've told the story in my video banned, my most recent banned video, which was basically Skeptic of the North struck me for copyright on the conspiracy theory deprogramming video. So it was basically removed. I have, of course, I edited out all his content and uploaded the CTD copyright free version of that. And of course, the original is still active on all the other alt-tech sites. But I mean, I'm still angry about that. I think that was a bad thing he did. And so let's go through. How many videos have I had banned? I've got a whole folder of my banned videos here. I won't show you them actually, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I've got 19 videos banned. There was 9/11 conspiracy, where I replied to Stefan Molyneux. I think, you see, the question is, should I re-upload some of these? I'm wondering if I should re-upload them. Then there's Apocalypse Soon. Apocalypse Soon was banned for copyright. Again, it was a really stupid, petty copyright issue, which shows actually that on my channel is being targeted, is getting extra attention for copyright, because I've showed a couple of clips from a couple of productions, which you can find everywhere anyway. Right, Boris and Trump Return. That was actually banned for believe it or not, that was actually banned for breaching community guidelines. I actually got a permanent community guideline strike on that. I don't know why. I've read through it. I did appeal it, and they denied, and then they turned me down. This was in the days before they gave you timestamps, but I'm looking at it and thinking, I can't see exactly where I breached any community guidelines there. Then there's I'm not sure I can even say this even now, but there was C word, a disease, not the C word you're thinking of, another disease that begins with C. Cure, a reply to secret sources. Then the same C word cure, a reply to Stefan Molyneux. There was Colonel Holt. Colonel Holt returns to Rendlesham. Oh, there's a saga. That was banned in 2015, and there's a massive saga associated with that. A massive saga. It has actually now been restored after I went through a very legal, not legal, but a very, very complex kind of like process with some idiot. Then there's a COP26 results live stream. Now that, funny enough, was banned because of it was about climate change. It was actually banned for copyright, but I suspect that was the ulterior motive because I showed a tiny little clip of the Utopia. I showed 2 clips of the Utopia TV series, the Amazon one and the Channel 4 one. And it was obvious fair use. The DC Aftermath live stream. Now that's one I probably could upload because it was about January the 6th and the election and the 2020 election. Dr. Alice Howarth on C-word cures again. Again, that was banned for medical misinformation. Now, Dr. Jonathan Reed at Rendlesham Forest. Now that is a very interesting one because 2014. Now that was banned. That was actually I actually chose to remove that one. And I chose to remove it because of basically threats I was getting, and people were threatening like to put, to false strike my channel. I was getting abusive, possibly criminal comments in underneath it, and so I decided to remove it from YouTube. It's still available on Alltech. Fake defamation, that was a drama thing. The fake defamation, that was just, it was a stupid drama situation. J-word, I can't say the full thing, but J-word was a video debunking anti-Semitism, which ironically was banned for hate speech. New York Times UFO live stream, I've got no idea why that was banned. 17th letter, investigation live stream, that was banned because the 17th letter is still, I still don't know, I still don't want to say it, simply because the reason I don't want to say it is because it's possible that the word hasn't got through yet to all the various underlings who actually do the deletions. Real Zombies 2015 brackets banned on YouTube. I actually put that in the title on Alltech. That was again medical misinformation. I can probably re-upload that one. The Lies of Marie Kay, that was again drama. Trump impeachment live stream. Now, I don't know why the hell that was banned, but it was a while ago. But for some reason that was banned. Now, some of those I could upload, some of them I couldn't. I don't know. But let me know. I'll tell you what, you guys let me know in the comments what you think I should do, what your advice is. Maybe I should wait a little while just for this to circulate through the entire system before I start re-uploading these very, very naughty videos. What do you reckon? Or maybe alternatively, I could just give YouTube and Google and Alphabet the middle finger and say, fuck you. If you're going to treat me like this, I'm not going to re-upload because I'm angry with the way you've treated me, and I don't want to feel that I'm like saying, oh, thank you, dear, thank you for forgiving me, and now I'll do what you want. No, that's something to think about anyway. That's something to think about. These are questions that are going to run through my mind in the next few weeks. But right now I'm erring not to uploading anything because I would feel it was essentially an act of appeasement. And it's not as if you can't enjoy those videos, because in all my little video band reports, because I refuse to normalize this, as I've often said, I will not normalize it. And in all my little video band reports, I always put this little link to the Papanmo TV blog notice, where you can the blog notice, where you have links to the videos on Alltech sites. So you can always enjoy these videos. These videos are there for everyone to watch. All you have to do is go to the Alltech site. It's a thought, isn't it? That's something maybe I'll discuss with you in comments, guys. Maybe in the next reply to comments video. Maybe I may even do another video on this subject if the comments are interesting enough. In the meantime, welcome back to free YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, and I will enjoy the capitulation and humiliation of Alphabet. Perhaps Alphabet will now be the ones standing behind me with their head bows, with signs around their neck saying, I am an Orwellian censor, and I'm very, very sorry. So what's coming up next? Well, Wednesday, if you've been paying attention, you'll know that Wednesday is the big day perihelion for 3i Atlas. So there'll be a live stream then. I'll upload the notice shortly. In the meantime, thank you all of you for watching Hapanmo TV. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.